That's called religion. You can't do it. Eventually, you're going to get tired and burnt out, and just that's it. You know. And I'm not saying that walking with God is easy either, but it's not religion. It's far from it. There's a huge difference. But yeah, I mean that's why people. That's the answer to your question. That's the real answer, and that's the people don't understand that. It's foolishness to people. If I try to explain this to somebody, people are gonna laugh at me and be like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" Because they don't know. And I don't look down on people for it. Really, I don't. But I know better. I know better because I know what it's like that to just like over time just be like, wait, what's happening to me? Suddenly I can't do this and I can't do that, and like, dude, are you serious? Like, what is happening to me? And but it's I'm changing for the better. Like, I'm becoming more, you know, like I haven't, like, over time you get a new nature, and so that's most people never invite God into their life. So that's what people don't understand. We all have a nature, and it's that nature that sends us. It's that lack of God in our life that sends us, not God. God is more than willing to help any one of us out, but most people, for one reason or another, they never want to invite him in. So then it's, you know, it's not God. It's their nature. They all have a fallen nature, and again, when God lives inside of you, in time He flushes all that out, and He makes you pure. So by the time you stand in front of Him on that day, He will accept you. You'll never be perfect in this life, but when you have God living in you, again, when God looks at you, He doesn't see a sinner, He sees Himself. So when He sees you on that day, why wouldn't He accept you? He's living in you. He's going to look at you and He's going to see righteousness. He's going to say, come on, son, daughter, welcome to my kingdom. But if you don't have, if you're not, if you don't have God living in you, if you're not flushed out, if you don't have all this garbage, flushed out of you, if you don't have God working in you, then God's gonna look at somebody who He loves, but you're dead in your sins. Period. So it might sound foolishness. It might sound foolish to you. It might not. I don't know, but it's the truth, and there's the answer to the question. There's the real answer. It's not that it's not that a loving God sends people to hell. And I could, again, I'm not making fun of people for it. I get it. Trust me, I do. But that's the mindset of the world. People, we have a fallen nature. We have to be cleansed. We have to be, I guess, sanctified. We have to be, you know, we have to get this. And there's no way. Religion does not offer you that. Religion says, yes, you're a sinner, but don't worry about it. You're good enough to overcome it yourself. So religion does not offer you a way out. Religion acknowledges your sin, but it says, go be a good person. And hopefully by the end of the day, you've done enough for me to prove to me that, it's religion puts you to work. Religion, you know, so so basically it comes down to this. Do you believe that, when you wake up every day, do you believe that there's a God up there that, that you offend? You don't mean to, you don't want to, none of us do, but you do. You really do, just for the simple fact that you don't. I mean, I don't know where you are or in life. Maybe you do have a relationship with God. I don't even know. And I'm definitely not saying this to offend you. I promise you. And I know these conversations with people can be very, very touchy and uncomfortable. And I'm not trying to put that on you. I'm just saying, unless you have God, unless you're in a relationship with God, then you're living in a fallen nature. You know. And what people don't understand in this world is you either belong to God or you belong to Satan. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's no such thing as living for yourself. Living for yourself is an illusion. If it's either you have God or you don't, and if you don't, then you're living in darkness. I don't care how happy you feel. I don't care how much money you have, or I don't care how, you know, no. I mean, It's either you belong to God or you don't. If you know, it's as simple as that. And most of these people, they belong to Satan. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying that they're mean people. I'm not saying that they're bad people. Some of these people are awesome people. You know, they're awesome, and it's not about, you know. I love everyone. I really do. I'm not taking shots at people. I'm really not. Um, I'm just being honest with you. It is what it is, and there's people in this world that know better. Um, but that's just the way it is. Um, so that was probably a very uncomfortable thing. You know, it was. You know, but it's true. It's very very true. So there's no such thing as living for yourself. I'm just gonna do it my way and all this other stuff. Like, no, absolutely not. That's not what we were put here to do. That's why, that's what our nature tells us. Our nature tells us, to be self-sufficient, to do it ourselves and this and that. Of course, we should get up and be productive. Sure, we should go to work every day. Sure, we should pay our bills and take care of our family. Sure, we should do these things. Nobody's saying be complacent and just, let God do everything. No, absolutely not. We all have, God gave us abilities, and we're to go out there and use them. You know, um, nobody's saying be complacent and not do nothing. Um, but you know, I just kind of lost my train of thought. But give me a couple seconds. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean that was probably a really uncomfortable thing. I probably made you really uncomfortable saying that, but it's true. It's really, really true. And like, when I say that, again, I'm not saying that people are evil people. Like, I'm not being overbearing or weird about it at all. What I mean by that is, if you don't have God in you, then you're not. Then you don't. Then you're living in darkness. You're living in darkness. You might be a great person. You might be the coolest person on the planet. Really, you might be. There's a lot of awesome people out there, but it's not about being awesome. It's about, if you die in your sins, then you die in your sins. I don't care how awesome you are, how financially rich you are. I don't care what your wife looks like or your husband looks like, or I don't care how talented your kids are. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you die in your sins, well, you die in your sins. And if you don't belong to God, then you don't belong to God. So you have to, people have two choices. It's they belong to God or they don't belong to God. And if you don't belong to God, then who do you belong to? You don't belong to yourself. Everybody has to answer to somebody. Um, you know, there's no such, I mean, everybody has to answer to somebody. I don't, think about it. It's just the way of the world. Everybody has to answer to somebody. So there's always somebody higher than somebody else. There's no such thing as just going off in the world and living for yourself, you know? Um, so, I guess that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Um, and again, I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And I know it was probably a really uncomfortable thing for me to say, especially being the fact that I don't know you. But I don't want to give you the wrong impression of me. I would never ever beat anything into your mind. I'm saying this stuff because I care about you and I love you, and you know, I'm not trying to beat anything. I'm not trying to beat you over the head with anything. I promise. Like, in person, I'm not one of these people that I would just, force myself on you as far as, in any way, shape, or form. And especially with this stuff. I'm talking. I'm just making a video, and you know, so I'm just trying to help you out. But yeah, that's people. A lot of people never accept God, and they never really, they die in their sins. So I hope that I didn't make it too complicated. Um, I'm sure I probably made it more complicated than it had to be, but that's just, I'm horrible at explaining things. Um, but so basically, I mean, it comes down to the reason I say God. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, God is like the only way to get to God is through God. Like, God in the flesh, like what He did on the cross, and in that finished work, that gives you the power to, that's the power of God. And religion doesn't offer you that. So it basically comes down to, do you see yourself as somebody who offends God? Are you willing to, and number two, which is probably the most important after you answer question number one, is, well, after you answer question number one honestly, who else died for your sins? Who else came down here and said, look, you have a sin problem. I got you. Accept me. I took your sins 2,000 years ago into my body. Your sins are forgiven. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to sit there and do anything. Just accept it. Accept it into your heart and come live for me now. Come cross over from this darkness, from this world, come live for me. Come do it my way. Come be God's child. Come do it my way. Cross over from this and come be my child now. And so that's, who else came down here and died for anybody's sins? Nobody. Everything else is just religion. Everything else makes you work for it, Sure, you're a sinner, but now all of a sudden I'm going to put you. It's kind of like community service. You go out there and you commit a crime, and then all of a sudden we give you an orange outfit and we hand you a broom and a dustpan and we tell you to go, go swing a hammer for 15 hours a day for the next month or two, and then after you work enough, then you can just, I don't know, go back to your freedom or something. Like it's just bondage. It's bondage. There's no freedom. It's just sure. I mean, yeah, it acknowledges the fact that you're a sinner, but it does not give you a solution. It acknowledges the fact that you have a problem. It says, yeah, you have cancer. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Like, what? Imagine if your doctor said that to you, or anyone. Your doctor walked in and said that you have some crazy debilitating disease, but then didn't even give you a solution for it, and then said, okay, goodbye. Like, wait, what? That's what religion does. Religion acknowledges the problem, but there's no solution to it. And, that's religion. A relationship with God through the real Jesus, the Jesus of the Bible, the King James Version, like, that's, so that's basically all I really have to say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Nope. That's it. That's actually it. I think if there's anything else. I mean, I'm probably really, really, really made it really confusing for you. Wow. I mean, I'm sure if I go back and I really felt interested in watching this video, I probably really killed this video. I'm so bad at explaining things. It's so horrible. I don't know how teachers can be teachers. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're talented people in that area. I just can't do it. Wow. It would drive me insane trying to teach people, man. I can't do it. I mean, it's like I know what I want to say, but I just, when I try to explain things, it just comes out as just like, I don't know. But, yeah, actually, I do have something. Hang on. Yeah, I was thinking of you and I got you this. I don't know if you could see that on this camera. I'm not opening it now. I don't know if you could read that. Let me get this. Yeah. All right, and then